I think we should be all green here and ready to go. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for November 11th, 2019. Q is going to be down just 0.22 there. Was a bigger gap down. Market's been rallying up ever since, almost down 0.25% on the SPY. So a little bit of a bigger gap down initially, and then uptrend basically all morning, and then into the afternoon a little bit sideways to down. So going into tomorrow and the rest of the week. All right, we'll see if we get some follow through here on the hourly. If we can get underneath today's low, I think we can start to look for a short-term bearish bias. That'll change the long-term to a little bit more neutral, but you know, the weekly, the monthly really can't call this bearish. Okay, so I think the hourly, we're waiting to see. We are putting in a bit of a lower high here. If we get beneath today's low, I think that'll be confirmation that the hourly is starting to break. All right, so underneath today's low, we can start to look for some for buying to get sold. Okay, at least in the short term. So that's what we'll be looking for first. All right, so then because we'll lose this higher low, and then that'll be followed by a lower high there. All right, so underneath today's low, we'll go to a short-term bias, a short-term bearish bias, but until then, still going to be bullish going into tomorrow. Okay, so I thought today's price action in the Qs and SPY gave us a unique opportunity here to look at some relative weakness ideas. Okay, so what does relative weakness mean, right? So, you know, if the market rallies back up and something stays near the open, you could call that relative weakness. The kind of relative weakness that we're going to be looking at are the things that stayed at the lows and just could not get off the lows, okay? So something like this NWL. Notice how it got sold after the first 15 minutes, set up a breakdown, and continued to sell off in even remaining weak here. 15-minute looks like it wants to set up another move lower here, right? But in the morning, nice relative weakness. We saw that Qs and SPY got the buying right away, right after the first 5 minutes. Qs were getting bought. Look at this NWL getting sold, staying at the lows, right? So what you're looking for here is you see the weakness here, and then you try to find equal highs and equal lows, some semblance of consolidation, right? If you've taken the Turnaround Trader program, right, you know what we're looking for. You know what they look like. There are a lot of examples in there of base breakdowns. So underneath these couple bottoming tails, entry there, stop over that. You could even put the stop up here for a little bit of a more secure stop, and then continuation lower, right? So these all kind of reveal themselves like this relative weakness, relative strength shortly after the open, but you're definitely not going to be anticipating too much at the open. At the open, we're going to be playing primarily off of the quality of the gap, right? So these are the plays that you can kind of find throughout the day after the open. Okay, something staying this weak. Market has shown you that it wants to rally. This cannot come off the lows. All right, here's another one, CNX. All right, we did discuss this CNX at length today. Not only this base for lower, but also breakdown at the low. So see how as the market was continuing its grind higher, even made new intraday highs here, right after the first hour or so, something like this still at the lows, something like this still making its way at the lows, still staying relatively weak, right? So I'm not looking for something that maybe didn't move up as much as the market, or something that's flat when the market is moving up or goes green. I'm looking for something that is telling me that I am so weak that this would happen in an up market, in a down market, in a sideways market. Okay, very, very weak on the CNX. Now look at this NEWM. Okay, another one here. Look at what happens here. Gets sold, and then we start to get this consolidation basing out sideways. Okay, now I really wish we'd seen this ahead of time, because I was not aware of it actually until it made this move, and then I saw, you know what, this is just as good as the other stuff that we've been looking at, that we've been looking for, that is relative weakness to the market. So I saw this only after it had made this move, but this is what we're looking for, just like all these other ideas that were given ahead of time, before the move was made. That NEWM I thought was a really, really nice example. So that way, hopefully that kind of stuff, if we're better at identifying it, we can find it next time. Any FGen here, on the FGen, very, very weak. Basing at the lows, cannot get off the lows. Breakdown there, did another one into the afternoon there, another breakdown. So you can see you put in some bars, equal highs and equal lows, consolidation, sideways, price action. And then once you get the breakdown, you can play that lower. So something a little bit unique about all of these is that on a day where the market was grinding higher all morning, and these cannot get off the lows, right? These are good opportunities for shorts, okay? So that's what I look for. I think early on, I think these are the kind of things that some traders kind of run into some trouble, which is they think, oh, well, if I find something this week and the market is rallying higher, that these will eventually catch up to the market, or that they're just lagging and eventually will get bought. I found that we just have to give the market a little bit, we have more credit than that. That it's not just a matter of that this will correct back to price, or that, traders weren't aware and people who meant to buy it just were absent-minded. No, I mean, the market instantly prices in, right, the difference between buyers and sellers. And so something like this, staying at the lows, right, has to be considered relative weakness and considered to be played lower. Okay, so I think this concept, I think for a lot of traders have found out that this is not the way that you want to buy low and sell high, right? Especially this kind of extreme relative weakness to the market. Okay, that's the kind of lesson I think that some of us have to learn kind of when we first come to the market, is that we look for weak items and we think, oh, if we buy it while it's down and we buy and sell it when it pops back up. A lot of things are weak for a reason. And so actually these, like on a day like today, make for pretty good short opportunities. And this NEWM, I guess the best of them all, sometimes we just don't find them ahead of time. But the important thing is, okay, fine, we didn't take any profit, we didn't take any actual money from this, all right? But it tells us we are on the right track, because if we are finding these, then we are finding opportunities. Okay, hope you had a nice weekend. Hope you did well today. I think we still have plenty of trading left this week. All right, so I thought it was kind of slow today. It is a holiday, and the bond market was closed. So I think tomorrow we should see trading activity overall pick back up. All right, and I will talk to you then. Have a good evening.